Subscribe to the Vedanta Vision YouTube channel and tap the bell icon. You'll get notified whenever we upload a new inspirational video.
As long as you're operating within the purview of a desire, you are pushing yourself into a prison of your own making. And then suffering. And then when the suffering comes, you blame everybody, including God. Except come to terms with the fact that yes, I am the one who's put myself in the prison. And therefore, I am the only one who has the power to get myself out of this prison. So what is this prison? See, if you function with bad desires, it's like getting to one of the worst prisons, what they used during the British times, they used to call Kala Pani, right? From where there is no return, you simply go there and die. That's the worst prison. So if you function with selfish desires, that's what he's been saying here, you go to hell and come back. But if you function with positive desires, it is still desire. It's like you've shifted from an ordinary prison to a 5-star prison with air conditioning and what is that called? High-def LCD TV in each room, attached bathroom, jacuzzi, what else? Entertainment, everything you've got. But you are not free to move out of that prison. How would you like to be in it? In your homes, you may not have all these facilities. But if you were offered a prison with all these facilities, how many of us would say yes? No, correct. That's exactly what he's trying to tell us. Why are you unnecessarily going into now, in the name of spiritual development, in the name of growth, in the belief that you're doing something good, all that you're doing is shifting from what is that called? Arthur Road jail to a 5-star jail. Does it make sense? And for that you have to put in so much effort. It's not easy to get rid of selfishness and acquire unselfish desires. So what he's saying is, for the same effort, if you can move out of the prison and enjoy the freedom, what Wordsworth calls as ethereal air, even if you're living in a slum, it doesn't matter, as long as you're free. That's what he's saying. That freedom comes only when you move outside the periphery of desire, which means perform karyam karma, just do what you ought to do. As we've seen earlier on one of the earlier days, there are 3 kinds of actions that you can perform. The highest, the best quality of action is called niyatam karma, means obligatory duties. Just focus on what are my obligations as a member of the family, as a citizen of this, as a resident of the city, as a citizen of the country, as a human being, so on and so forth. As long as your focus is on obligations, you're not promoting your desires, you're well on your way to getting out of this prison. For which he says, all right, you may not get to the state of realization in this janma, you may not get to realization in the next janma, but at least there is some way out. Maybe the 5th, 6th, 60th janma you may get out. But the way we are going about it, it goes on endlessly. And later he says, shashvate, it is almost eternal, whether it is positive desire or negative desire. So the second, if you're not able to keep to niyatam karma, which is your obligatory duty, the next is you fall into kamya karma, then straight away prison. Then you are at the mercy of your desires. Whatever be your desire, you have to meekly succumb to that and fall a prey to that and then go through all the trauma and suffering that follows. Desire and attachment. And you've got to be able to see that. There are people who have not been exposed to this philosophy at all. First time they hear it and immediately it goes straight in. They get it. And there are others like us who go on for years together, nothing seems to happen. Like water off a duck's back. But that the day you wake up to this, for which you need to understand what it is not to be victimized by your desires, not to get boxed in. See, the problem with a prison is the moment you enter a prison, over a period of time, that becomes your whole universe, that becomes your world. And you lose sight, you forget about what goes on outside that prison. And then you get involved, you get enmeshed, you get entangled in the happenings of the prison. And then all that matters to you is what food am I getting, how much food am I getting, and how many times are my relatives allowed to visit me, and maximum an intellectual prisoner thinks in terms of how many books are there in the library. But beyond that, you can't think. An outstanding person in the prison is one who sets aside all of this and fixes his attention on the fact that it is my birthright to get out of this prison. And he commits himself to moving out of that prison. Then he devises a method. He says, how do I get out of the prison? The moment his attention shifts to freedom, to that extent, he becomes unconcerned with the happenings in the prison. So if you're eating food and another prisoner, bully, comes and takes away your food, you say, what difference does it make? What matters is, how do I conduct myself in such a way that I get out of this wretched place as quickly as possible? And such a person has a complete, automatically he assumes the leadership qualities. He becomes a leader of all the prisoners in the prison.